Let's talk about the Endswith string method in Python. This Python method will take in a string as an argument and compare the ends of that string to another string to see if they are equal. Then we will be returned a boolean value, meaning that the method will tell us yes, the ending of these strings are equal, or false, the two strings are not equal. Throughout this video, we will talk about what this actually looks like, why this method can be very useful to your Python codes, and then we will talk about how we can go about incorporating this string method into our Python codes with some examples. Let's begin by detailing how this method actually works a bit before we get into writing some code. Let's imagine that we have a variable called YouTube name, and we assign the value of StudySession to this string. Then, to output the boolean value our method returns, let's enter a few print statements using the Endswith method. Let's test a single character, a word, a misspelling, and then the whole string. As you can see, when we hit print, we are returned true, true, false, true. You can think of this method as checking character by character if our strings are identical. Beginning at the end of our string in this first statement, it just checks if our YouTube name string ends with an N, and that's all. This is equal, and therefore we receive a true statement in return. The same goes with our second statement. As the last 6 characters are all identical, we are returned true. However, in the third statement, you can see that our S is not capitalized, and therefore it is not exactly equal to our comparison string, which is why we are returned a false value. Lastly, you can see that as long as our whole string argument matches, it does not matter how many characters you enter here. Now that we have the basic idea of how the Python Endswith method works, let's see how this can be implemented into some Python codes. Let's imagine that we had a survey asking some friends coming to our barbecue what they would like to eat, a hot dog or a hamburger. After inputting our data, we get a list of answers from our guests that let's say looks like this. Let's say that we want to go through this list and see which guests want a hot dog. Well, we can accomplish this through using a for loop. Let's say that for friend in survey results, check if a given string ends with hot dog. If it does, well then let's print out the guest's name. We can actually isolate just the guest's name from the string by using the split method and splicing out the first partition. So, this line will take our string and break it at the value we enter. So you can see here that I entered a space and a hyphen, and this will just give us the person's name. Well, what if during the survey we accidentally entered one of the food types as a capital H instead of a lowercase h in either hot dog or hamburger? Well, as you can see, our friend Susan is now left off our hot dog list, as the string is ignored as it does not match exactly. One way you can resolve this is simply adding an additional method to our Endswith method. For example, we can add a lower method to our if statement, and then during our loop check, it'll turn the whole string into lowercase while it checks. As you can see, this resolves our issue, and Susan is no longer forgotten about. The last thing I'll talk about with the Endswith method is that we can actually do a bit of splicing to make our method a bit more powerful. By that, I mean that we can actually change where in our string we actually want it to end. So let's just go back to our initial example of YouTube name. We want to begin our string check at, let's say, the study part of StudySession. Well, remembering that Python uses 0 indexing, the S of study is our 0th character position, and our Y is our 5th index. Where we will begin our Endswith value. Therefore, if we enter this statement, we are given true. I hope that this video helped you understand of how we can use the Endswith method in Python. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and consider checking out our YouTube memberships by clicking that join button down below. However, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns about the information I provided in this video, please leave a comment down below and I will do my best to address your concerns.